Good evening, race fans. Racing 393 here for a very much a long overdue update on my channel. I bet some of you have been wondering where where I've been, and what I've been up to, or maybe you haven't. Well, a quick update is I have moved, as I've probably said in my last cast. And to be honest with you, I've sort of taken a bit of time out whilst I was sorting myself out, moving in, routines, work, getting things where I needed it. I've still been playing my sim racing. I've been doing it nearly every day. I've been thinking about whether I should continue with the channel. I was always sort of debating whether to sort of perhaps knock it on the head. Just for time constraints more than anything. It's not as if I don't enjoy doing it. It's just something which takes up a lot more time than I can put into it. And to be honest with you, there's plenty of people out there who, they can do a far better job than myself. And you feel a little bit, I wouldn't say intimidated, but you just feel a little bit, below par. You think I'm not up to the, I'm not up to the level of some of these guys. A lot of it is perhaps knowing what to say, and there's perhaps a little bit more behind the scenes. What's the word I'm looking for? Behind the scenes, looking for information, the correct information, sort of like a rehearsal, and that in itself takes even more time, and one of the other reasons is, I've moved to a different location. I've got someone, my partner now living with me. Well, that's the wrong way around, isn't it? I'm living with her. So I've moved in where I was before. It was just me. So there was no real constraints on time of day of when I used to do this. So a little bit of, trying to do this with someone in the house is for me, is a bit weird. My partner is aware that I do online racing. She knows I've got a channel. She's probably unaware of the implications of having that channel, so I've sort of laid low a little bit. So yeah, I've got everything all set up, kind of where I need it. Just a quick update. I've got 2 rigs, as I've had for a while now. I've got one that plays the PC Sims. I've got an Xbox also connected to that same rig, and on the other rig I've got an older PC which is also connected with the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4. I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty much flitting between the Xbox, PS4 and PC at the moment, and although I have been using the older PlayStation 3 because it still works on the wheel, and coincidentally that's why I've got the older, should I say PC, PlayStation 3, if I had said PC, and the PC, they work on the wheel that I've got on that rig. But going forward, because of room, I've taken up a whole room. I haven't got quite as much room as I had before, so yeah, I'm looking to downscale actually. But that means buying more equipment. So hopefully at some point this year, I'm going to be able to upgrade my rigs, and hopefully what the plan is, because I don't use the older equipment as much, certainly not for streaming, because everything that's sort of retro that I've done in the past works on my PC that I currently use. So I'm looking at maybe amalgamating PlayStation 4, Xbox One and the PC on the same rig. With that said, as we know, we've got the Xbox, well, the PlayStation 5, which has been announced, so that's probably going to due next year from what I've read. And with that in mind, you can, although nothing's actually said officially, or has it been? I think it has been mentioned, to be fair. I have read about it, so I'll backtrack that. The new Xbox is due out. as well. I'm guessing that will be, I don't know, next year. They've got the Xbox One S digital version that's coming out imminently, doing away with all the discs that you've got. Not sure if that's a good or a bad thing. Less space, I guess, like less physical space. But maybe what happens to all the discs that you've? I don't know. We've got all these discs that you've got. I mean, if you install it, does that mean that you have to keep the disc? Well, you can't install it, can you? Actually, so there's me going about. You can't install the discs what you've got on this Xbox unless you can prove that you own the disc, and then you can download it off the internet, I guess, off their store. So anyway, that's that. So yeah, so I've also got as of today 39 people following the channel, which is good. So I've increased from the last time I spoke. It's gone from, I think maybe it was 29, 30 to 39. So I've certainly got a few people coming on board, which is, for me, considering it's not as updated as much as I'd like it to be. So that's really good. So I really appreciate that. There's plenty of other channels out there as well, which has sort of kept me perhaps away from mine. I'm particularly interested in the Sim Pit, Sean Cole, and BSR, Billy Strange Racing. Certainly watch a lot of his videos. Chris Hayes, very good as well, very professional. So again, you've got all these guys out there and girls doing a very, very good job, along with Mr. JB, Jimmy Broadbent, who's, as we know, he's almost a household name almost for those that do sim racing. And what they do is pretty much covers all of sim racing, so it's very difficult to sort of get your niche. My thoughts, perhaps what I'm going to do going forward is I'm going to do all the sims that I have. The PC is a little bit easier to capture because the way it's done. What I found is using the consoles. I think there is a way to do it other than what I'm doing, but I've always used Elgato, which used to be really good, I must admit. And I've got two Elgatos, believe it or not. So I've got an older one which worked fine, and a newer one which worked fine. But until I last tried to use them, probably going back about 4 months now, nothing but stuttering. You just could not get the voice and the image to sync. So I don't know what to do about that. I'd like to capture some stuff on console, because something I do quite often is something that Billy Strange does, but he does it more overseas content. He does do other bits and pieces, but it's based around the American motorsport and Australian motorsport venues. Tends to do captures leading up to the real world events. Now, unknowingly, I was doing that anyway without the capture side of it. Quite often I would set up a sim based on what's coming up at the weekend in the UK. I'm an avid F1 supporter. Sort of time or place now to discuss whether F1 is as good as it was, but I tend not to capture the Formula One, which those that know me might find that a bit strange. I think it's because it's just a one type of niche racing. I particularly like R Factor 2, Forza, Project Cars 1 and 2, Assetto Corsa. Even more so than perhaps Assetto Corsa Competizione, because it's got variant in their content, so you can actually match what's around in the UK at the time, more or less. There are some elements of the racing which we haven't got the content for, but I've since updated my Assetto Corsa to use Content Manager. It's amazing. It's something that Billy Strange used to keep going on about, and I was aware of it, then decided to sort of have a look at it. Yeah, amazing. Makes life much easier when installing mods and things. So the plan going forward is maybe concentrate on the UK side of the racing and try and match up some of the racing on the Sims to what's going on in the real life. I'm looking at maybe doing a video a week. I had an update previously saying what I would do, but that was before I moved. So now I've moved. Time constraints have slightly changed. And I thought because of the 39 of you that are actually, and the extra 9 of you that have actually subscribed to the channel, I thought it would be a polite, really, to sort of update you guys what's going on, as I've had very little content going out. So yeah, I'm not sure when the next one will be. I'm currently re-downloading rFactor 2. I've been messing about with this for months to try and get things updated, trying to get into more the workings of the sim, and I found out how to sort of program the AI. I found out how you can add skins, although I'm not particularly very successful at that, like manually adding them. I was having some real trouble when it's alright downloading the skins that are in the files that the rFactor rFactor 2 uses, because it automatically puts them in packages and installs them into the game, which is handy. But I found a way of doing it manually, which is a bit hit or miss, to be honest. So I'm not too keen on doing that, because I'm trying to sort of update some skins that people have done on certain series to keep them perhaps current. So we'll see how that goes. I've only just got back into my VR, believe it or not. I kept ranting on about it. So yeah, I might do some more dirt racing. I haven't really been on iRacing that much. It's a commitment, isn't it, on that one? So I've been more dabbling around with the sort of the other sims at the moment. Yeah, so I decided to reinstall rFactor 2 today because it was playing up. I sort of messed around with it too much. So I backed up my files, deleted the game. It's just reinstalled the game. However, it's got like 300, probably a bit less than that now, but over 300 items off the Steam Workshop to install on the game as well. So I'm going to leave that running for this evening, to be honest. So that's where we're at, really. I'm hoping that I'll get a video out next week. I'll look at my diary, see what racing's coming up, and see whether I can match the racing. A bit like what Billy actually does. So I don't want to take anything away from him. It's not something he's not. I'm not trying to steal his thunder by any stretch. But I think if I can cover the UK side of it in that kind of format, I think that might work. As you know, I'm fairly knowledgeable on what goes on in the racing world. It's just whether or not I can get the correct sim combination. If it's on console, I might struggle. I'm going to have to probably delay the console capturing until I've got until I'm happy with it. It may or may not work. So yeah, I'll have to just stick with the PC for now. I mean, because I know a lot of the games that are on the console I can get on PC, like Project Cars 2, for example. So I might have to delve into that. Forza obviously isn't. I know it's not a sim as such, but that's not on the PC. And I've got a few new games out on the consoles, which I can get on PC, so I may do that. Recently bought MotoGP 18 because it was cheap, and I got Dirt Rally 2 a little while ago, so I may convert those over to the PC, so at least I can start capturing some other bits and pieces. But yeah, I mean, I've had quite a few comments from people. I have tried to respond as well to that, so I appreciate the people that have took time to watch the videos. A lot of that's been based around some of the older stuff, the GTR content. So I may do some more of that. Yeah, that's about it really. So I think we'll end that one there. I hope you sort of appreciate the update, and I will hopefully be back on track as of next week. Like I say, about a video a week, time permitting, and we'll go from there. If in the meantime, if you've got any suggestions or anything you'd like to ask me, then by all means you can message me on YouTube. I always respond. I sort of left it a little bit, but I did respond to some older questions, and people have sort of appreciated that. So it's got other links on there about how to get hold of me, email, etc., etc. If you've got anything particularly you'd like to ask me, or if you've got any ideas about how to go forward, I'm all ears. Okay, well, thank you very much for listening, and I'll hopefully see you guys or speak to you guys next week. Enjoy the rest of your day.